You can start with my pulse here.
I took your pulse.
Oh, how about this hand?
Roger, really, this has gone far enough.
Far enough? Holding a wrist is your idea of far enough?
And then in 1979, the show gets canceled. And you didn't even know it was coming.
No. Found out from a newsstand guy.
Tragic.
Best known for his role as the hilarious Roger Raj Thomas from the classic 1970s ABC sitcom What's Happening, Ernest Lee Thomas lit up our screens and filled the rooms of many households with laughter due to his effortless talent and funny demeanor. After What's Happening was canceled, Ernest Lee Thomas's life fell apart and he almost died as a result. It got so bad that Muhammad Ali was forced to intervene to try and save Ernest. Watch this video to find out about the tragic life of Ernest Lee Thomas and what he's up to these days. Early life. Ernest Lee Thomas was born on March 26, 1949, in the city of Gary, Indiana, and like any other child living in the neighborhood, he faced the typical challenges of growing up in a working-class family, as the city had a reputation for its economic struggles. However, despite these obstacles, young Thomas had big dreams, even as a child. He knew he wanted to perform and captivate audiences with his talent, and as a result, he was determined to succeed, no matter what the cost would be. Thomas attended Emerson High School in Gary, where he honed his natural charisma and creativity. But it was his decision to pursue higher education that set him on a path toward his dreams. After graduating from Emerson High School in Gary, Thomas pursued higher education at Indiana State University. There, he discovered his passion for the performing arts through involvement in theater and writing workshops. And when he was done with college, Thomas decided it was time to park his bags and leave his hometown in search of his dreams in the bubbling New York City, where he would later enroll in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and later on have his big break. Rise to stardom. Shortly after his move to New York, Thomas swiftly began his professional acting career as a Broadway actor. He made his professional debut appearing in the 1974 revival production of Love for Love, and that was followed by a role in the 1975 revival of The Member of the Wedding, both productions co-starring the acclaimed actress Glenn Close. During his time at the esteemed American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, Thomas fine-tuned his acting skills, preparing for the glitz and glam of Hollywood that awaited him. As the sun dipped below the East Coast skyline, Thomas's journey took him westward, where his star found its home on the iconic sitcom The Jeffersons in 1975. With his portrayal of Ronnie Walker, Thomas breathed life into the character, captivating audiences with his undeniable talent. His magnetic charm didn't go unnoticed, because that same year, he appeared on the 1975 hit series Baretta, eventually landing a role on The Brady Bunch Hour, solidifying his place in the annals of television history. But it was during his stint on The Jeffersons that destiny intervened. Amidst the hustle and bustle of Hollywood, Thomas stumbled upon a golden opportunity, a chance audition for a sitcom inspired by the film Cooley High. However, while the film delved into darker themes like drugs and crime, the sitcom aimed for a lighter, more relatable tone. Mary White, the agent of Isabel Sanford, who portrayed Louise Jefferson, urged Thomas to audition, and he did. Against all odds, Thomas emerged victorious among 200 talented hopefuls vying for the role. Although the initial pilot failed to strike a chord with test audiences, the resilient crew refused to throw in the towel. Armed with determination and creativity, they embarked on a journey of transformation, reshaping the show into the beloved classic we now know as What's Happening. In this revamped version, Ernest Thomas emerged as the shining star, securing the lead role of Roger Raj Thomas in the revitalized summer series. Despite being just 26 years old when he stepped into Raj's shoes, Thomas's youthful energy and undeniable talent propelled him to instant fame. Portraying a teenager navigating life in Watts alongside his divorced mother Mabel and younger sister Dee, Thomas brought depth and authenticity to the character, endearing himself to audiences from the very start. As the show's protagonist, Thomas quickly became a fan favorite, his charisma and charm captivating viewers week after week. His portrayal of Raj resonated with audiences, earning him widespread acclaim and catapulting him to the upper echelons of Hollywood success. With fame came fortune, as Thomas enjoyed the perks of his newfound celebrity status. The show's success not only solidified his place in television history, but also brought him wealth and affluence beyond his wildest dreams. For the producers, taking a chance on Thomas was a gamble that paid off in spades, as What's Happening quickly became a household favorite, capturing the hearts of viewers across the nation and earning itself a full series run from 1976 to 1979. But Thomas wasn't just a one-hit wonder. Between takes and curtain calls, he dipped his toes into various film and TV projects, leaving his mark wherever he went. For instance, despite the disappointment of missing out on the iconic role of Kunta Kinte in the groundbreaking miniseries Roots in 1977, Thomas found solace and success in other ventures. He seized the opportunity to join the star-studded cast of the comedy crime film A Piece of the Action in 1977, sharing the screen with comedy legend Bill Cosby and esteemed actors Sidney Poitier and James Earl Jones. In the film, Thomas portrayed the character John, contributing his talent to a project that garnered rave reviews and left audiences in stitches. Although the role of Kunta Kinte eluded him, Thomas didn't dwell on what could have been. Instead, he embraced the chance to be part of Roots, 1977, albeit in a different capacity. Cast as Kai Lubu, Thomas brought depth and authenticity to his character, contributing to a series that not only captured the hearts of millions, but also sparked a cultural phenomenon. During the second season of What's Happening, tensions simmered as Fred Berry pushed for higher salaries and better studio accommodations, leveraging the success of the first season to make his case. However, the issue of studio conditions reached a boiling point, leading to a dramatic walkout by Berry and Thomas during the filming of the second season episode, If I'm Elected. With Berry and Thomas absent, the burden fell heavily on Haywood Nelson, who carried the episode on his shoulders, supported by Shirley Hemphill, Brian O'Dell, and Debbie Morgan, who stepped into the spotlight with featured speaking parts. Behind the scenes, producer Bud Yorkin took action, suspending Berry and Thomas and requiring them to sign $25,000 promissory notes as a guarantee of their return and to prevent further walkouts. Fortunately, the dispute was swiftly resolved, and both actors returned for the following episode, allowing the show to continue its successful run. However, history repeated itself during the third season in 1979. During the third season, tensions reached a boiling point again when Fred Berry once again threatened to strike, this time over a significant salary increase. The ripple effect of his protest was palpable as the storyline had to adapt to accommodate his absence, with other characters stepping up to fill the gap. Not long after, Thomas joined Berry in the protest, doubling down on their demands. The conflict came to a head in a showdown of epic proportions during a heated meeting with the executive producers. Emotions ran high as accusations of racism were hurled back and forth, further complicating an already tense situation. With negotiations at an impasse and no resolution in sight, ABC dropped a bombshell. The series was canceled. And just like that, What's Happening aired its final episode on April 28, 1979, marking the end of an era for viewers and the dedicated cast and crew. And even so, especially for Thomas, because according to him, the news of the show's cancellation didn't come through official channels or industry insiders. Instead, he stumbled upon the gut-wrenching revelation from a newspaper article. The shock of learning about the abrupt end of the series, which had been the backbone of his career, hit Thomas hard. It wasn't just the loss of a job, it was the shattering of a dream and the sudden uncertainty of what the future held. For Thomas, this marked the beginning of one of the darkest periods in his life, grappling with the abrupt halt to a journey that had defined him for so long. Love life and family. Despite his public success, Thomas has kept his private life largely under wraps. While he has never been married and is believed to not have any children, there have been hints suggesting otherwise. In an interview, Thomas revealed that he does indeed have a daughter. However, her identity is still unknown till this very day. So there you have it. In the end, Thomas's might have been like a roller coaster. But luckily, he managed to get back on his feet despite the odds. Picking up the pieces. After taking a 6-year break, Ernest returned to TV and film, playing Raj again in What's Happening Now. This time, Raj had grown up, with a wife played by Anne-Marie Johnson and a successful career as a writer. The show aired for 3 years in syndication. Since then, Ernest has made guest appearances on popular TV dramas and sitcoms like In the Heat of the Night, where he reunited with his TV wife from What's Happening Now, Anne-Marie Johnson. He also appeared in The Parenthood, Martin, with his former co-star Martin Lawrence, Soul Food, The Steve Harvey Show, All About the Andersons, and more recently, Just Jordan. In 1992, Thomas had a significant role alongside an ensemble of acclaimed actors, including Denzel Washington, in the biographical film Malcolm X, where he portrayed the character Sidney, contributing to the film's critical and commercial success. Recently, the movie was honored with a placement in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress, recognizing its cultural, historical, and aesthetic significance. A few years after that, he also shared the stage with Grammy Award-winning gospel singer Kirk Franklin in the sold-out tour of He Say, She Say, But What Does God Say? The tour not only showcased Thomas's versatility, but also brought him closer to audiences through the power of music and storytelling. And in 2005, he made a triumphant return to sitcoms by landing a recurring role in the period sitcom Everybody Hates Chris, portraying Mr. Omar, a funeral director. With that, Thomas left a lasting impression on viewers of all ages. His portrayal of the role resonated deeply, earning him recognition from both younger and older audiences alike, solidifying his status as a versatile and beloved actor. Depression and substance use. When Ernest Lee Thomas learned of the cancellation of What's Happening in 1979, it hit him like a ton of bricks. As Roger Raj Thomas, he had become deeply attached to the character and the show's success, so its sudden end felt like a personal loss. The emotional impact was immense, leaving him grappling with feelings of uncertainty, sadness, and a sense of identity slipping away. As the stage lights dimmed and the applause faded, Thomas stood at a crossroads, entering a new phase filled with the complexities of fame. Yet this transition wasn't smooth. Like many young stars, he faced crucial decisions that would shape his life profoundly. With the abrupt conclusion of his hit show, he plunged into a profound despair, consumed by depression. In search of comfort, he turned to substance use, hoping to numb the pain. Thomas was brutally honest about his descent into addiction, battling demons fueled by the use of coke and other harmful substances. This tumultuous period became a crucible, testing his resilience and defining his journey ahead. Thomas's struggle with addiction took a heavy toll over time, leading him down a destructive path that eventually reached a critical moment. Initially, he tried to control his substance use, hoping to regain a sense of normalcy. But as time went on, addiction tightened its grip, pulling him further into chaos. Sometime after his life took a downturn, Thomas had a chance encounter with the legendary boxing champion Muhammad Ali. Ernest was facing tough times, living at a YMCA following the cancellation of What's Happening. At the time, Ali was famous for his kindness and generosity, so he offered Thomas a place to stay in his huge mansion. However, despite the comfort and security it promised, Thomas struggled with accepting it for a number of reasons. On one hand, he felt that accepting such assistance might not align with his path forward. And on the other hand, Ali's wife wasn't supportive of the idea. Thomas continued to struggle with drugs and his finances until he decided he was done being a slave of his own vices. The turning point came when he faced the harsh reality of losing everything he had worked so hard for. Evicted from his home and left with nothing, Thomas hit rock bottom, forced to confront the devastating consequences of his addiction. The once celebrated Raj was now just Ernest Lee Thomas, a man trying to make ends meet. This tough experience marked a turning point, pushing him to confront his situation and start the difficult journey towards recovery. After his eviction, he found refuge with his sister, who welcomed him with open arms despite his financial struggles. Shortly after moving in with his sister, Thomas knew that he had to get his life back on track. And to do that, he became determined to break free from drugs by reconnecting with his Muslim upbringing. He earnestly prayed for divine intervention to overcome his addiction. Eventually, his cousin introduced him to a Muslim acquaintance who spoke candidly with him, encouraging him to leave behind his destructive habits and pursue a clean lifestyle. Since then, Thomas has been vocal about his faith, which blossomed after he developed a personal connection with God and embraced Islam. However, about 30 years later, he confessed that his turning point really came when he met Jesus Christ. Till this very moment, he credits his faith for everything he has achieved in life, trusting in God above all else. Having experienced the lows of addiction, Thomas now focuses on spreading the message that God loves everyone equally and is capable of performing miracles in their lives, just as he did for him. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to enjoy more videos about your favorite celebrities.